So I woke up this morning to a comment in which a YouTube user asked me, "True, why is it that you continue to respond to these people when they've openly admitted that they are using you as a lulzcow?" Well, I'd have to say this. The problem with these people and this community, these atheists and evolutionists in this community that tend to be outspoken, when they call somebody a lulzcow, you sort of have to take that with a grain of salt, because there may or may not be somebody that is worthy of being considered a lulzcow. They've been known to call very respectful people like Nate Cunningham and others lulzcows because they may say something or talk about something or have a viewpoint that they don't agree with, or they might point out some of the foolishness that goes on in the community with their own. And the interesting about Nate Cunningham is he was probably one of the most respectful and polite people in the community. He was very passive in how he would speak to people, and he tried to take the middle ground a lot of times. But I guess in their minds, if you don't water down your views, and if you just flat out express how you feel about certain things, and your views may differ from their own, then they're not going to tolerate that. You're now the enemy in their mind. So when somebody calls you a lulzcow, or when somebody's being called a lulzcow in the community, you really have to step back for a second, evaluate the situation as to why they are trying to call somebody a lulzcow. Now, the second thing that I have to say about that is being called a lulzcow in their community, that's really what their responses are to our arguments. I mean, really, it really is. We present arguments, we try to talk about certain things, and when they don't have rebuttals or their rebuttals fail, they usually resort to throwing dirt in people's eyes because they've got nothing else that they can say or do. They don't like what you're saying, or they can't refute what you're saying, or what you're saying makes them look bad in some sort of way. So they'll try to say, well, he's dumb for X, Y, and Z, and then they'll try to ignore that and move on to maybe trying to jump at certain things that you say or how you say something in order to try to make you look bad or attack you as a person. Or they'll just, they'll twist how you say something and attack what they twisted about you rather than dealing with what you said in context. I can't tell you how many times I've had to deal with that. Actually, just recently, Dragnock just did a video, and I was skipping around in it, and I came to a part where Dragnock started saying that I said that I have no formal education. That's very strange, because all three of those hangouts that I had running last night, I said the opposite of that at the very beginning of the hangouts, that look, don't get the wrong idea here, I do have an education, but I'm just trying to point out that, look, at the people in this community who want to talk about education being synonymous with success, and we know, and I'm not going to mention any names because I'm not trying to offend anybody, we know that there are people in this community who do have an education and do have certain degrees in certain areas but are struggling in life and are not doing too well. I think that, the point being is that you guys need to start being a little bit more humble and stop trying to use this as a cheap shot to people when they start saying things you don't want to hear. So that's all that hangout was for, and I qualified it at the beginning of the hangouts and the video that I uploaded yesterday. He may be trying to get at what I said to Christopher, because Christopher started laughing at me when I told him what my education was. And you know how they do it, it's just they mock at anything and they laugh at anything. And I said, look, Christopher, you can look at it like this: I have no education whatsoever, no formal education whatsoever. I'm still self-taught, and I get my information from getting a hold of marine biologists like Dr. Robert Carter or different scientists, reference the information I'm self-taught on. And clearly, if I'm able to keep it and keep up with people with masters in biology or PhDs in biology, then I clearly know enough to at least talk about the topics. You don't have to respect that. But anybody who wants to challenge what I know, come inside of the room with me and let's talk about it. So I was basically trying to just grant what Christopher was saying, his mock, to express a point. Like, dude, first of all, I don't care about what you think about my education, but if it were true, it wouldn't mean anything. I've mentioned this before, though, several times in the past. Like, Matt Delante's got no formal education in philosophy at all. And when it comes to theology, I've actually got I'm more qualified than preaching or talking about theology, at least according to Matt Delante's perspective of what somebody needs to know, what they need to go about doing before they can preach. Because I've actually preached in churches, and I've actually been asked by various pastors if I would preach for them on certain Sundays. And so I've brought up that point before in the past, that even people like Matt Delante, who have no education, they clearly are able to engage with people who do have an education, who are philosophers, yet they don't offer that same level of criticism. So all I was doing was entertaining. Look, at if we were to grant everything you say, it doesn't matter. Attack the point, let it be about the facts and the information, and that was it. So I think what Dragnock might have been doing there was he was trying to maybe jump on what happened with CRISPR, but at the end of the day, it still comes back to the same point, twisting context and what I was really trying to get at in order to try to paint a picture. So, like I said, I mean, that's what they do. That's what being a lulzcow is really all about. You say things that that they don't want to hear, and you openly express your views on things. Yeah, I know that guy behind me right now, he's probably a bit upset about me stopping there at that red light, but over here, these cameras, they try to find you for, even if you can turn on right, they still try to find you, so I try to avoid it every time I can. Anyways, that's it, guys. I'm going to end this in this video. When somebody's being called a lulzcow in this community, you shouldn't even ignore that. You shouldn't even pay attention to that. You should ignore that completely and entirely, because you gotta keep your mind on who it is that are calling other people lulzcow. Steve wants to get a thing going called the Ronnies. Yeah, that's what he wants to call it. You know, you got the Red Line with this dumb effer of the year. You've got talking Trash Tuesdays over there on JD Kane's channel. They dedicate their channels to bad mouthing and talking trash about us guys. So when you hear these people calling someone a lulzcow, you need to understand that it's just more behavior that is indicative of immature people are nasty and rude, and they love to smear people and talk bad or down on people who say things that they don't agree with. These are people that have never had to mature in life and that never had to learn. You have to treat somebody else with respect. You have to talk to another man with respect. So, you know, being called a lulzcow is just, it doesn't really mean anything. It's like dealing with the trivial remarks of a 13-year-old or 14-year-old kid or some adolescent. It means nothing. Adults know how to deal with that situation, and either call them out and discipline them by pointing out the irony of their remarks, or you just realize that there's no value to it. So that's it, guys.